Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
Good evening. I'm Rox Berkey, and it's so nice to have you join us. And tonight we have a really, really special treat in that we're going to talk to an author, poet no less, and someone who's aspiring to many, many other things, J.M. McGhee. But because I'm her friend, she said I could call her Jasmine. So welcome, Jasmine.
Thanks, Miss Rox.
So, there's several things that I think we should tell our listeners about tonight. And so I think best place to start is, your years of experience in writing. You've been writing a long time.
I have. Now that you mention it, I've never even thought about how long it's been because I've been doing it so long.
So how did you get started, though? You didn't start with the book that we're going to talk about in a little bit. You started someplace else.
I did. When I was probably 5th grade, junior high, I was going through a lot of things, a lot of emotions, a lot of, me being a girl transforming to a woman, body changes, and also dealing with the clique, trying to fit in, trying to find out where I fit. And as you said earlier, I was very soft-spoken. I didn't know what to say. I was very shy. So I just started writing. I didn't know what I was writing. I just wrote down how I felt and sometimes seeing what I felt. And I wasn't sharing my work with anybody because I wasn't understanding what I was writing. I was just writing what I felt to kind of purge my soul a little bit. As I got older, probably like in high school, one of my teachers was looking at my stuff, and she's like, "Oh, so you like poetry?" And I laughed. I said, "That's what I've been writing, poetry." So ever since then, poetry just became my first love, and it kind of saved my life as well.
So, I mean, that's really interesting. And you've done some journals and anthologies before you did the book, right?
Yes, ma'am. I know back then, like I said, I was really shy because I knew how I wrote. A lot of people didn't agree with, people were saying it was negative and it was very dark. But, around the time I was in a very dark place, I was going through a lot of changes, and a lot of people weren't really receptive to what I was trying to convey. So at the same time, I had a lot of people in my community kind of encouraging me to, get my stuff out there, get in portrait contests. I'm like, no, nobody's gonna like what I write. So my first poetry anthology was by this company called JMW Publishing, and they published my first poem, which was Ravens of a Madman. And I was like excited. I'm like, oh my God, I got published, and I'm a teen. Really? They like my stuff.
It went crazy exciting, though. Congratulations. See, that's wonderful.
Thank you.
So, but you decided that you were going to put these poems together.
Yes, ma'am.
You were going to create something called Little Girl Blues. Is that why folks think some of it's a little bit dark?
Yes, ma'am. I know down here where I live, everybody has this misconstrued, I guess, hallucination that, being a child is all supposed to be, happy, sunshine and rainbows, but we all know that's not always the case. Everybody goes through different things in their childhood, and some, go through a lot more than we know about. So, I didn't have the title at that time when I first was thinking about a book. I think at that time I was trying to figure out, like, okay, if I was to do a book, what would be the title? And I knew I felt blue all the time. So then I was like, well, since I'm a girl, I'll just call it Little Girl Blues because I'm going through all this stuff and I don't quite know how to really handle it. And then I don't like mirrors. I'm being honest. I don't like mirrors because I didn't like how I looked. So I just pictured myself looking at a mirror, but I didn't see a reflection. So I was like, you know what? I'll call it Little Girl Blues, Existence of an Image, because I'm trying to search for an image through pre-made images.
So I think part of that, at least from the portions of your book that I read, Existence of an Image, almost relates to the pictures that you paint in the minds of the readers. So you seem to have a way to really paint that canvas, and it's so relatable.
Really?
And has that always been the case?
No, ma'am. I don't know how to quite explain it. I knew, well, a lot of people won't agree when I say this. I feel when you're with poetry, you're writing poetry, you're getting intimate with yourself. Like, you know, most people don't deal with their issues and they just kind of just throw it in the bag. But it's like when you're with poetry, it makes you get intimate with yourself, like you have no choice. So I love words. So while I was writing at an early age, I was always looking up stuff in the dictionary and the thesaurus, and I was looking up different words like I knew it was gonna be like boom, that's what I want, and boom, that sounds better than just saying, oh, it was hard. You know, it was rigid, it was like shattering. Like I want you to feel it, I want you to see what I'm trying to convey.
So from your perspective, I know you've gotten several really good reviews and very detailed reviews. How do you feel as an author when you get, honest constructive criticism? Does that help you?
That, yes, ma'am. My fear is not even just as an author, but as a writer. You know, that field is very harsh because so many people want to criticize your work, not really just acknowledge it, but really like break it down and criticize. So, you know, me being, like I said, I wasn't confident in my writing. So when I did this book, I took a leap of faith because I was like, I can't believe I'm going to do this book. But when I read those reviews, I won't lie, they was very like awe-inspiring. Like, wow, my book did that. Like that content, the words. Like in my mind, I'm telling myself nobody's gonna like it because this is how I write. They're not gonna be able to relate to it. But you know, at the same time, I have had multiple people reach out to me on my social platforms or even send me an email, and they're like, Miss McGhee, I love how you were able to do that. And well, I mean, what made you write a book? Like, what can you tell me to inspire me? I'm like, wow, somebody's asking me, what can I say to inspire them? Like, that is so freaking cool.
But that's a really good point. So, what things and hurdles did you have to overcome to put this book together? Because there may be, writers out there that are terrified to publish a book, and you may inspire them with some of the path you took.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I know I have like over 1,000 poems. They're everywhere. But just say the book was already written. I just had to get it assembled. So in this process, the title was there. I just had to get it in order because I was like, well, since we're talking about things that I went through as a child, things I was dealing with, not just, my environment or the society, like we're talking about internal struggles that a child is going through that she doesn't know what to do with and she doesn't know who to talk to about these things. So it's like I want people to be able to follow the child as she's transitioning into adolescence. So I had picked certain poems for the childhood part. And then after that, I'm like, okay, so we're talking about, little girl's perspective in section 1. In section 2, I'm like, okay, now we got to get to the adolescence part, which, we all deal with, finding out who we are, finding out, what we want to do with our lives. Do we want to fit in? Do we just want to have a good time? So that's when I had with a section called Creating the Image. So as I mentioned earlier, most of us, all of us, when we're born, whether it's female, we all have a role. As a woman, we're groomed to, be the woman, you know, be the mother, be the nurturer, be the wife, all that good stuff. And you have the man who he's groomed to be the protector, you know, the provider and the protector. So it's like you are the pre-made images there. So how does somebody like me go, you know, kind of fit into all that? And I'm kind of rebelling against those pre-made images. I'm like, well, I'm different. I mean, I can be, you know, those things, but at the same time, despite all these things that's around me, in the center, there's me. So how do I define me? So you had that part. So once I got the book together, the only thing I really had to go through was the book cover. Because I had a lot of people that was telling me no. Because my thing was, I want a little girl on a swing looking in the mirror. That's what I wanted. Some people was like, well, you're going to have to get somebody to take a picture, and you're going to have somebody to reenact that. So it was one lady, her name is Francesca Winfield. She's in United Kingdom. We linked up on Facebook, and I told her what I wanted, and I was like, she's going to tell me no, too. She's like, whoever told you no, they just out of practice. So when that book cover, I instantaneously fell in love with it. I said, that's it. That's the book cover. That's what I want. So I was just like, she's my shero. You know what I'm saying? She's my shero. She made my dream come true, because that's the only image I kept seeing in my head. But the trick with the book, which I didn't know till Miss Rock, she brought it up, the mirror doesn't show the little girl looking at herself. She's looking back at you. I was like, now see, that's what I love about Miss Francesca. She really made that book cover pop and embodied all the concepts that I really wanted my audience to just, you know, make it memorable. Like when you say Little Girl Blues, what is it about this book, the content of it, the themes of it that I can take from it to help, you know, either improve or inspire or encourage me in my daily life.
Well, there you go. I'm telling you, the cover, and listeners, you need to go take a look at it. Little Girl Blues, Existence of an Image, is really a timeless cover. And it certainly does talk about growing up and dealing with all the things that you mentioned, Jasmine, but I don't believe that it's only for young people. So we're going to take a very small break and listen to our sponsors. And when we come back, I want to delve a little bit more into some of the other things that you have going on. So you stick around, please.
I sure will.
What started as a love letter to her son has become an international love letter for all parents to their children. Now you can read acclaimed author Shanalee Charbonneau's story to your children. When her son was very sick, she calmed him by singing her own song to him. She turned that song into the book, My Mama Loves Me, I'm Her Little Boy. She wrote 3 more magical books for all parents and kids 6 and under. Available at Indie Lecter, Amazon, and all local and national outlets.
Hello, I am the author and poet Denise Bryson. I am the author of The Things That Cross My Mind, Love's Reality, both in book and audio form. I am also noted as one of the best poets of 2011. I have 2 new projects coming up. One is the Blinky series, where Blinky tells us all about our coins and our bills for our children. I also have a book coming out called Say Ye. It's quotes from Denise Bryson, just inspirational and that will help you along the way.
Hi, Brakefield and Berkey here, award-winning authors for the Techno Thrillers books, the Enigma book series. Technology, today's weapon of choice, the cyber good guys versus the cyber bad guys.
We invite you to join our website, theenigmaseries.com, where you will get sample chapters, sample audibles, book trailers, and you can sign up for our mailing list. The books are available in ebook, paperback, and Audible. Thank you.
Thank you for watching or listening to this show. Indie Lector is proud to sponsor this programming. As a thank you for listening or watching, we would like to give you a 10% coupon code that you can use on our bookstore at indielector.store. Use coupon code video19. Again, that's indielector.store, coupon code video19 for a 10% discount on any purchase. Thank you.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Rox Berkey, and I am delighted to continue my conversation with really a genuine poet who writes from the heart, J.M. McGhee. And her book that we've been talking about is Little Girl Blues, Existence of an Image. And so when we left off, we talked about, how you kind of put that book together and put things on, but that's not the only thing that you've been doing, is it?
No, ma'am. I just took a hiatus. I promise you I did. Right after my book, I was doing book signings. One of the local schools asked me to come speak to the younger generation, and I'm telling you, like I said, I'm very soft-spoken. I kind of freaked out. I said, I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to tell the younger generation, but I just basically got out there and, I told them, I shared the struggles that I had. I shared the controversy that I had with my book cover, dealing with race and stuff of that nature. But I also encouraged them that you never stop growing up. I can't tell my age. I know a lot of women would say that's rude, but, I'm a certain age, and I thought when I was younger I would have certain things in place, but that's not always the case. So I told them, you never stop growing up. You have to learn how to find your own voice, learn how to plant a seed, learn how to help other people, and make sure you plant a seed. It's a positive seed. You don't just want to just plant anything because your soil is not going to take to anything thrown at it. So make sure it's a positive seed. And I had a lot of questions. I even had a young lady that shared some of her poetry with me, and I gave her, a copy of my book, and I was like, read this, and I pray that it actually put some perspective, because even with the things that I've gone through to who I am now, all that shaped me and put me on the path of learning how to speak my own truth and, use my own voice. Because I went from just being voiceless and quiet, not saying anything, to, now I'm not as quick to say anything, but if it's not right, I will definitely, speak up. So it was a very wonderful experience knowing that my book touched so many people. And for people that read it,
So when you put this book together, what age group did you target? Is it really the adolescents, or is it the whole millennial gender, or do you have a feel for who your real audience is?
I would say, to be honest, with the book, because I was doing a survey and I was asking, adolescents, even me and a couple were, answering my questions. I was shocked because I'm like, I didn't really grasp that men go through so much depression.
Well, I think one of your great points is that you stated a few minutes ago that we never really grow up. We continue to grow and evolve and rethink things. And I suspect, because I can say it from my own perspective, things that I thought about as a teenager are different than how I think about those same things now. So it does change, and it's influenced by a lot of things. So I can see that a certain amount of reflection could be had by, an adult reader and kind of remember stuff and maybe have a better quality of communication. Do you think that's the case?
Yes, ma'am. I would definitely say, even though most of the content I wrote at a younger age, as I was putting the book together, like in different sections, I could definitely tell my writing evolved. It didn't just stay dark. It didn't just stay, am I ever going to get out of this type of thing? Like, I actually did see my evolution. And I was like, wow, I'm so used to people telling me my evolution or my progress or what they see from their perspective, but I've never seen it. So definitely putting this book together, it did help me see my growth. Like, wow, I'm really not that same little girl anymore. She's still there. We still, trying to find our voice and everything. But just to actually see the evolution, I was like, wow, Lord, I don't know what to say. I guess I kind of see what other people see. And, with the book also, back to what you were saying, it is self-reflective because we put so much time and value in what somebody else sees, what somebody else says, that we drown out our own voice. We just get so caught up in, well, what do you think? Or tell me what what do you think I should do? We don't, consult ourselves. And that's become brainwashed because we get so caught up in what everybody else saying, a people pleaser, which makes us very unhappy. So we have to learn how to, take it in stride. Like, yes, it is nice to know somebody else's opinion or perspective, but we can't just use that basically as our guide to guide us, because we all walk our own path and we're not all meant to walk that same path.
Exactly. And so toward your point, you have a very strong voice. It is evolving. And I know some of the ways that you let that voice be heard is through some of your social medias and your website. So just to make sure people can reach out to you in a way that makes sense, could you, kind of indicate what social media channels you're on and what your handles are so that people can find you? But I know your website address is really long, so go slow with that one, okay?
Gotcha. Okay, well, we'll do the social media first. So my Twitter is at Blue Poet Evolve, and Instagram is I2 Your Soul 30, and my Facebook author page is at author J.N.McGhee, which is McGhee. Now, for the website.
It is a mouthful.
Yes.
What would you do if you had to put your life on hold to care for a loved one? I'm Charlotte Kenyon, award-winning author of the book, You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, How to Parent Your Parents. That was a question I had to ask myself some 16 years ago, and you'll have to ask the same question. I had a father-in-law with dementia, a mother with Alzheimer's, and a dad with Parkinson, all at the same time.
What would you do if you found out everyone on the town council were thieves and murderers? That's what happened in Bandera, Texas in 1873. John Cruder was the marshal, yet he needed to operate outside the law in order to balance the scales of justice. He is the Midnight Marauder. You can find his books on Amazon.com and TopWesterns.com in paperback, digital, and audio. I'm Roy Clinton, and I hope you'll read The Midnight Marauder.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Rox Berkey, and I'm so glad to have J.N. McGhee, author of Little Girl Blues, Existence of an Image, a wonderful realistic poetry book spoken from the heart. So in this last short segment, I really want to talk about some of the other things that you are hoping to get into. And we kind of touched on them before we took our break as far as, editing and proofreading. But what are the other avenues that you want to take this career in the writing community?
Well, a while back, probably like a few months ago, I did come up with an idea to do a creative journal, for different mediums such as, writing, art, short fiction, all that, because don't get me wrong, I know we all have to deal with rejection, but I had one editor send me a email begging me to submit something, to their journal to be published. I'm like, oh my God, yes, I'll find something. And, I sent it, but they weren't pleased with it. And it really disheartened me. I said, well, you asked me to send you something and I did, and you don't like it. I don't understand. So I had got this idea. I said, you know what? I'm going to create a journal where people are able to get exposure. I won't charge anything because I don't care about the money. I'm like, you got so many people with, with talent that when they're trying to submit to these different journals and, magazines, that they get rejected and they get so, discouraged by that. So I was saying, even if this person don't get featured in that edition, they're guaranteed to get, featured in the next edition. And I did share that with some of the young, individuals that I spoke to at the school, and they were like, so I can submit like lyrics or anything. I'm like, anything, not anything, but you get what I'm saying, like anything that's not very offensive. Like, this is to help you get exposure, and hopefully by helping you get exposure, you'll get that confidence, and maybe you may find a journal that, you may feel that's worthy of housing your content.
That's awesome.
That's one of my ideas. I haven't, went through with it yet because I was like, well, I don't know, Lord, what if nobody submit? But I've had a lot of people like, well, I'm more this journal you're talking about. I'm like, well, it's still in the works, but, hopefully by the beginning of next year, I'll be full launching it because I'm really serious about the writing committee, getting, helping them find their voices, helping them, be proud of, their voice and expressing the freedom that comes with the talent that they have, that even if you get, heavily criticized for it, you still have to be proud and stand behind it. And even with my book and my book cover, I had to learn that. Like, even when I put it out there, my teacher was like, well, you put it out there, so you have to be able to stand by it. So even with all the controversy, I still stand behind that book. I still stand behind the book cover and the content in it, and whoever doesn't like it, well, that book just isn't free then.
So where is your book available? Because we're getting close to the end. I want to make sure people can find Little Girl Blues, Existence of an Image. Where can they buy it?
Okay, so on Prime Realtors, you have Amazon. You can get it Kindle, paperback, and audiobook. You have a Libris, what's the name of this other store? I'm sorry. It's basically available everywhere, but those are the main ones. I know people, they get from Amazon, a Libris, Indie Books, that's another one, Book Depository. Like I said, it's pretty online. They're even selling it in Australia. Did you know that?
There you go. There you go. So again, that's J.M. McGhee. The book is Little Girl Blues, Existence of an Image. It has a great cover, and you can follow her on Amazon and find her social media. And it's been a pleasure. The time has just, it's just run by, Jasmine. I want to thank you again for being here this evening.
I thank you, Ms. Ross, and Indie Beacon Radio. I love you guys.
Thank you for listening to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. To learn more about Indie Beacon services, to be a guest on the show, or to advertise on our show, please visit our website at indiebeacon.com.